Okay, so for my video, I did economics, and it is the producers and consumers. So for the first slide, I did what are producers and consumers, and I had a stop and jot. I'm gonna have them write down what they think a producer and consumer is, and then just to give them a little bit of an idea, I'm gonna have them write down some sort of list of like what their parents buy, where it's groceries, clothes, doesn't really matter because we're still a consumer. Okay, so in the second slide, it's just straight up explaining what a consumer is. So I have on there the definition of a consumer, and then I have on there goods and services because we buy goods and services. So for goods, I have things you buy, like clothes, cleaning supplies, household items, and more. And then services, I have on there that it's things that you go somewhere and you're served, so like restaurants and spas and haircuts, and just to give them some idea of what things are. And then on this third slide, I have a picture of Target because I know most of them are gonna know what Target is, and if they don't, we could always give examples of Walmart, HEB, anything. So I have on there that producers are people who make goods and services for consumers, and Target produces food and clothing for consumers. So I just have a little question on there that says, who do you think makes the food for Target to sell? And the reason I have that on there is to kind of give them an idea that things don't come straight from the store. They're produced also from other people, but they're producers to us because we consume them from them. And then here I have what are goods and services. I have this on here because it just gives them a little bit more of an idea of what goods and services are and what exactly consumers are buying and what they go and do. So for some idea, I put on there goods are groceries, toys, mail stamps, paint from a store, clothing. For services, I have car wash, movie theater, dog groomer, museum tour, and I have a little pop-up question. It says, who pays for these goods and services and who provides them? And the reason I put this question is just to give them a little refresher and connect the fact that producers and consumers are goods and services are part of consumers and producers, and just to kind of keep it refreshed in their mind. Okay, so one of their activities, this one is in my lesson plan, this would be considered the we do. And so what I have on here is to discuss with an adult or an older sibling. So the reason I have this is because they need to discuss it with somebody who is older and know what producers and consumers are. And so one of the questions is, what are some services your parents do at the house without pay? And the reason I have this is because people do stuff without getting paid. And just to kind of get them help thinking, I have on there, do they cook for you or do they maybe clean for you? Because these are all services that are provided to us at home. And then I have on here, why are these important? And so the question that the answer that I kind of expect for this is because they wouldn't get fed without it, or they would eat nothing but junk food. And do they maybe clean? I have that. That's important because their houses would be a wreck without it. And I expect this to go on probably about 10 minutes each. what are some of your favorite goods and services your family consume outside your home. So the reason I did this is just kind of so they can relate to consumers. And I could even ask what are some of the things they like to produce, and maybe that's, you know, donating to stores and donating food to food banks, especially right now. I should have put that in there. That's a really good question. But I have this one in here because I know they would really like to talk about some of their favorite things they like to do. Okay. So for this is their individual activity that they will do. The directions say to get construction paper, but I know that may not be available some places. So I just said step 1, grab a piece of paper, and then step 2, get 2 different colors, any 2 colors. And I did this so that they can really tell the difference between their producers and their consumers. So step 3 is fold the paper hot dog style and draw a line down the fold. And the reason I do this is because it's separating and it's giving a definite line between producers and consumers. And then step 4 is label one side producer and the other side consumer. So what they're gonna do after that is list 4 different producers, whether that's farming, whether that's a grocery store, whether that's stores in the mall, it doesn't matter. And then after they list them, they're going to draw a picture so they can actually like visualize what producers look like. And then they're going to list on consumer side the different types of items you would buy from these producers, and they're also going to draw a picture of those items because they really need to see what kind of items they're going to be buying from the producer. So I just kind of have them thinking a little bit deeper. It says list some local producers and consumers within our community and our school. And so one example I gave them was like, if I go to Walmart to buy milk, who is the producer and who is the consumer? So I just kind of expect them to really talk about this with someone at home, and it would be just so some of the examples I expected get our lunch ladies. So they produce our lunch and we consume the food. Teachers, they're producing education and they're soaking in all of the learning. And then any restaurants they really like to go to locally, any stores they go to locally, just different types of things that are local and that they go to. And I expect them to talk about the different stuff that they like. This is what their let's be creative foldable would look like. So they're producers, farmer, and there's a picture. There's a cow and there's a picture. Target with the Target symbol, Walmart with an apple next to it because I assume most kids will associate groceries with Walmart. And then they have what they would buy from those producers. So a farmer, you wouldn't necessarily buy anything from a farmer, but what farmers produce are fruit, meat, vegetables, and so much more. Cows, they produce milk and meat and cheese. Target, they will probably buy their clothes from there. some of the kids may have seen mom buy makeup there or sister, and they probably have been there when they've bought medicine. In Walmart, most kids, including my niece, every time we go there, always wants toys from Walmart. So groceries, toys, tools, and the reason I did this is just to kind of keep them thinking about all the different things that they buy from all of these producers and realize how much we depend on these producers, especially right now, because some of this stuff you can't get, like toilet paper, but you fight through it. And then on the back here, this is kind of just something I added last minute, but they would create their own chart to kind of remind them of what they are. So this one here is goods, so things that are made or grown. So TVs are made, clothes are made, apples are grown, grapes are grown. Services, I feel most kids would probably associate services with being served at a restaurant. So work that someone does for someone else, and there's a little people eating at a restaurant. And then producer, someone who makes or grows goods or services or offer services. And so here's a little farmer growing in the sun. And then consumer, someone who buys goods or services. So this is just someone shopping, and the checkout person is holding the money, putting it into the register.